Oh, here you go. Are you all right?
Yes, I think...
Is there anybody else in there?
No.
Are you absolutely certain?
Yes.
You must be very proud of him.
Oh, I am. And cross with him, too, for taking all those risks. He says he wasn't taking any risks. It was all as safe as houses. But it's been 3 weeks now and he's still getting nightmares about it. Oh, well, it's all over now, thank God.
And Bamfield returns to its usual tedium.
Funnily enough, David says the really brave one was a boy called Blades. Lucky he was up so late.
Blades?
Do you know him? I only know him by sight. He's supposed to be a bit of a slacker, but clever with it. Well, apparently he pushed David aside and rushed straight into the fire to see if those 2 little Indian boys were in there. Well, David says he didn't seem to care a damn about his own safety, almost as if he didn't care whether he lived or died. Maybe he had a soft spot for one of them.
Oh, no, I don't think it would be that.
Well, as I say, I don't know him. I'll just get some more hot water.
How do you live here? What do you do with your time?
Oh, the twins take up most of it now.
Oh, yes. There is that about them. And that's plenty for you, is it, Beth?
Well, it'd be plenty for most people, I should think. They don't sleep as long as the baby's in the books, you know. They're not usually like this. Most of the time we can't hear ourselves think.
Yes, of course, but I mean, before this, you did have a job before you were married.
I was a nurse. I was rushed off my feet then, too.
Didn't it drive you mad at first, living here?
No. I thought it might when I first came visiting. But since I've been here, I've loved every minute of it.
Do you know, I think I believe you.
You make me feel terribly dull.
Oh, I don't mean to. I envy you.
I suppose Davy and I were very wrapped up in each other.
Yes. Good for you.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was a bit thoughtless.
Oh, don't be. I can't bear the way people avoid referring to this curious state of semi-widowhood I'm in.
Anyway, I think I was more wrapped up in Davy than he was in me. The twins seem to have evened things out a bit. I mean, you teachers get so involved in your work, don't you?
Do we? Yes, I suppose we do. In our different ways.
No, it's my turn to tell her. You see, Mrs. Derbyshire, there's an Englishman, Irishman and Scotsman, and they all decided to have a game of golf.
Graves, I have heard that one.
No, you haven't, Mrs. Derbyshire. Has she, Titterton? No, Mrs. Derbyshire. Honestly, this is a brand new one. No one's heard it except Graves and me.
Graves and Titterton, you may find this hard to grasp, but I have heard as much about Englishmen, Irishmen and Scotsmen as I can bear.
Could we tell you tomorrow then, Mrs. Derbyshire?
No. No, not tomorrow. Next Thursday week. Now, that's when I'll be burning to hear it. Do you think you can remember that?
Yes, Mrs. Derbyshire.
Now, go away.
Well, I'm glad you don't think we're claiming too much for the damage. I've tried to discourage the little beggars from smoking, but they will go and hide themselves away, you know. Then they drop the cigarette ends and matches between the old floorboards. Think we can get the repairs in hand right away? We're having to double up in the ground floor dormitory. Come and have a look. It's like the black hole of Calcutta for the poor little toad. You come and see. You won't believe it. Hello there! What a splendid day, eh?
Yes, isn't it? Hello, Julia.
Here.
didn't really mean it, did you?
Keith, I don't know.
What do you mean? How can you say you're not surprised?
I'm sorry, David. I just don't think it's all that surprising.
But I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw them.
Well, David, she is very pretty. And lonely, too, I dare say. She can't be more than 2 or 3 years older than Blades. She certainly doesn't look it. It's just a crush. I've seen them together myself once or twice.
What?
Just talking.
So when I saw them, they'd gone a good bit further than talking.
Got a good look, did you?
Oh, Beth, don't make me feel worse about it than I do already. I wish I'd never seen that bloody dog of Cordwainer's.
But it's not really your problem, is it?
Yes, it is. Blades is in Havelocks. It's my responsibility. I can't just pretend I haven't seen him. What if Cordwainer heard about it? He'd insist on Blades being out on his ear within the day.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Isn't he leaving at the end of term anyway?
Only as if he gets that scholarship. But he hasn't exactly been reading his head into train oil. Beth, I just don't know what to do.
Well, what could you do? Well, Mr. Herries would be sympathetic, wouldn't he?
I don't have to go to Harry's.
Oh?
Well, it's the sort of thing that Carter would do, and well, it would put Algie Herries in a difficult situation. It'd be out in the open then, and well, he'd be forced to do something drastic. Oh, I have to put Blades on the carpet. Warn him, point out the seriousness of it. Talk to him for his own good. Oh, Beth, how do you do a thing like that?
Like a fierce old Victorian schoolmaster, I should think. David, don't you think you're being a little unfair?
Why?
Well, he's a schoolboy. Rather a mature one, I admit, but... Well, Julia Derbyshire's a teacher. She's more to blame if anyone is.
I suppose so, but I don't see where that gets us.
Well, why don't you talk to her first?
Oh, no, I couldn't. I hardly know the woman.
She's quite nice.
No. No, it'd be more embarrassing than tackling Blades.
Do you want me to talk to her?
No, it's not your problem. It won't be long.
Is there anything wrong? Oh, dear. Have you come to give me good advice, like Mr. Carter?
Yes, I'm afraid I have.
Oh, dear.
And I'm afraid you're not going to like it.
Go on, then.
Well, this afternoon, just by accident, I saw you and Blades over by the folly. I had to say something. You must realize that something like that can't go on. Someone else will be bound to see you, and if it were one of the boys, he'd simply spread the news around the school.
I suppose it's no use telling you you're mistaken.
Don't make me tell you what I saw.
It isn't against the law.
I know. I'm not a prude. But it could get him expelled and you dismissed. I wanted to prevent that.
Oh, it's so stupid. I don't expect you to believe this, but we weren't lovers. And wouldn't have been. Anyway, it's over now. I'm leaving Bamfield. Mr. Herries has allowed me to go before the end of the term.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Are you really? Yes, well, I am too, in a way. But God, what a bloody awful, stifling place this is. Don't you feel stifled?
Not anymore.
No. Well,